What is up, my friends, and how's it going? And welcome back to the 15th episode of our Let's Play series as Roma with your fellow comrade Summary. Some of our generals have increased in rank, and we have the Imperial reforms, but we haven't yet researched them because, of course, it's not historical to research them as of yet. So I'm gonna hold off on that. Meanwhile, in the previous episode, we fought the Mithridatic Wars, and we defeated Mithridates himself, conquering the entirety of the Black Sea Empire of Mithridates. And as such, we are now in a position to attack his ally in Armenia, and that is Tigranes, as you can see over here. Tigranes from the Mithridatic campaign has been imported into the campaign. And there he is over there with not a very formidable army. However, as far as my scouts are concerned, I believe there could be another formidable army nearby. I'm not entirely sure where he could possibly be. There we go. Over there. Now that is a pretty formidable army with a lot of cataphract units and horse archer units, so we gotta be very careful about that. And speaking of armies, we are in the process of recruiting more armies. As you might remember from the previous episode, we hit a new Imperium level, which means we have a lot more army limit. We have 40 army limit, and we only have 23 right now, and that includes governor generals. So as you can see over here, we are in the process of recruiting Legio 1 Germanica, and let's go ahead and upgrade these troops, because as far as technology is concerned, we are pretty much researching the technology that will give us our level 3 weaponsmith as well as our blacksmith or armorer, and that will give our units even more attack as well as armor. So it's quite powerful. As you can see over here, the melee attack of this legionary unit is at 12, and should I upgrade them, then that should increase to 13, and of course that armor of 43 is absolutely juicy. So let's go ahead, put them back into the port. And I'm going to go ahead and do this for all armies. However, you know, I'm not going to waste your time by making you guys watch this. Basically, we're just going to proceed with the campaign and conquer Armenia as well as the Caucasus. And in regards to our previous conquests, you can see we have gone ahead and renamed all of the provinces and regions into their Romanized format. And as such, everything seems to be fine. Meanwhile, we have marched Legio 10 Equestris towards Trapezus and assigned Julius Caesar in charge of his favorite legion. And he will be leading, of course, the offensive against the Armenians, against Tigranes. As far as economy and food is concerned, we have 2 food provinces now in Sicilia as well as the Bosphorus, and food is looking really good. We are under no situation where we will be threatened with a lack of food. However, as far as economy is concerned, Asia, no surprises there, is leading with 120,000 denarii per turn. Africa Proconsularis, ever since the conversion of this into a horeum, is actually hit 100,000 denarii per turn. Meanwhile, Latium and Achaia are a little bit lagging behind, but keep in mind, with the case of Achaia, it's only three regions in this province, and you can see just how powerful it is. I mean, it is pulling its own weight in comparison to the other 4 region provinces, so Achaia is quite powerful. Now over here in Achaia, I have an option of, you know, building the other industrial building, the Amphora factory, which basically gives 20% wealth from farming agriculture, which is not all of that useful since we don't have any farming or agricultural buildings in the province. It also gives 40% wealth from all commerce, which is quite useful, but once again, not that great. What we really need is the wealth from industry. As you can see, Achaia is spec'd for an industrial build, and it does give that 16% wealth with the commercial stimulation edict, which we are using. However, I have opted to go for the Shrine of Vulcan, or more, because once we get to the Basilica of Vulcan, we will get a 40% wealth from industry. And if we build 2 of those buildings, we get an 80% wealth from industry. And just to give you an idea of how much more that would increase the income of a KR, you're looking at about at least, by my estimates, another 20,000 denarii. So that could well put a KR into the category of, the other economic provinces. Meanwhile, Latium is lagging a little bit behind, and that is because we are still in the process of building up our buildings. As you can see, we have completed the Circus Maxima, but we are in the process of building the Cloaca Maxima. It's going to take a whopping 21 turns to get there, and then of course we are also upgrading the Circus, after which we can finally get the Colosseum in Roma, and it will be at its historical location. So I'm pretty much liking how Roma is looking as a map. Meanwhile, we also want to upgrade the Temple of Jupiter into the Pantheon, but as of now it is locked behind the technology, and not to worry, we are soon going to research that technology anyway, so definitely something to watch out for. However, some of the things I've noticed here is that the Ironsmith takes 13 turns to build, and the Weaponsmith takes 12, so that's 1 less. So what we're going to do is actually research for the Ironsmith first, so that we can get that, start building it up, and then we can complete the research for the Weaponsmith and build it up, and they should complete their construction in and around at the same time. Meanwhile, we have other legions over here that are in the process of recruiting, so we are going to move Legio 3 Gallica towards Narbonensis to get some auxiliary troops, and in the meanwhile we are going to go ahead and, well, this is interesting. It's okay, cool. Alright, I kind of thought that it's giving me both options, I guess. Like, I can potentially recruit Augustan units, which is not time appropriate, so I'm definitely going to ignore those units and just focus on, of course, getting the Marian legionary type units. So we need 3 more of these units. There we go. And once that is done, since we're here, might as well just upgrade this army. Perfect. And the last legion that we have gotten that is an extra is actually a very interesting legion, and that is Legio for Scythica. And as you can see, it's a very different composition. I have avoided the javelin men, and I've opted for, Balearic slingers. So typically I get 4 long range missiles and 4 short range missiles that pack a punch against infantry units. But keep in mind, this is Legio for Scythica, so I need them to be able to hold their own against nomadic horse archer armies. So having Balearic slingers, or getting rid of the javelin men in favor for 4 additional slingers, is going to be very critical. And apart from that, another interesting thing is you can actually see we have Cappadocian auxiliary horse archers. So we have a bit of units that can go toe-to-toe with the nomadic factions, but as of now the idea is to march Legio for Scythica towards the Bosphorian region and kind of wait it out over there in anticipation for any unforeseen attacks from Scythia or any of the other nomadic factions. Meanwhile, our dignitary over here is done converting this province, and it will slowly convert more and more over time, so we no longer need our dignitary over here. We're going to bring him back down towards Armenia, because we want to convert the province of Armenia as quickly as possible once we conquer it. However, without any further ado, let us hop into the battle against the Armenians, and I believe they're at war with the Scythians, so we could potentially ask the Scythians to join the war. So let us actually do that. Perhaps they would even pay us, and I don't think they will pay us, but that's fine. Alright, they have accepted that, so now we are going to bring in our offensive into Armenia, beginning with Legio 5 Laude. Let's go ahead, upgrade those troops. Go ahead, attack our Samosata. And it's a pretty good auto-resolve, so I guess we can just simply auto-resolve it. I mean, we will have a pretty good fight ahead of us in this episode. Let's go ahead and loot up the settlement. And we want to build that, demolish any of the other buildings. And we have Legio IV Macedonica that can go ahead and attack Coron.
Besieging settlement. None will escape.
Excellent. So it's a pretty easy episode, if I should say so myself. And we are going to go ahead and loot it, keep looting it. I don't care if the public order is going to be really horrible, but we can easily deal with that. We have a lot of legions in the province. And we can even send a Legio 22 Diatoriana all the way towards Armavir, as well as the Primus Inter Pares, Julius Caesar himself. So what we are going to do is we are exactly going to do that. Meanwhile, just have a look at what Tigranes can potentially reach us, which is what I don't want. So what I am... can't really reach him. What about the other army? The thing is, I don't want to get isolated by this army over here, because when I attack Armavir, one of my armies is going to be within the settlement, and preferably Julius Caesar will be outside the settlement. So we could get attacked by this army, and if Tigranes decides to join the fight, then we could be in a bit of a situation. So let us actually go ahead and attack Armavir. And I'm definitely going to fight this battle because I really want to conserve my legionary troops. So let's quick save over here. Even though the auto resolve is amazing at 92, I don't want to take any unnecessary losses. And so I'm going to fight the battle, and I will see you all in the battle. Alright, welcome to the battle. We have deployed in our typical Manipular cohort formation. So let's go ahead and start the battle. And the garrison should sally out to meet us because we have an artillery piece. And our artillery piece should be able to do quite a bit of damage if we are within range. And we are almost within range, so there we go. Now it will start firing pretty soon. There we go. We get to see some early casualties in this battle. And we can just fast forward over here while the artillery as well as other things start to attack. And what we need to focus on is actually focus on the cavalry units, because once we get rid of the enemy cavalry units, which is the only cavalry unit, then pretty much our cavalry will have free reign to do whatever. You can see we've done quite a good amount of damage on that cavalry unit, so let's go ahead and attack some other units. We should be able to throw some javelins against this unit. Group 5, pull all the way back. Don't want you to get caught out.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
Already done quite well against this unit. And it is going to retreat. Perfect. Move our auxiliaries here. Move our Cretan archers slightly behind. Get these guys to fire there. And we're going to keep the enemy a little bit tight, so definitely want to try our best to keep them tight so that they cannot flank us, and instead we will have the advantage against them. So as far as positioning is concerned, so that is great.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And we can move our cavalry on the right flank around as well. Get these guys to charge here. You can hold position, just reform up again. And of course, some Cappadocian Lancers should do really good on the charge. And over here, we're done quite well. Just form up once again. Go ahead, charge, prevent them from forming up. There we go. Get our skirmishers into the gap as well. Move our Cappadocian Lancers out, they've done quite well. And now we can use our other Lancers to kind of attack the enemy. Over here, the missile units all the way in the back, so... move away. Perfect. Get our spearmen in and around. Get this cavalry unit to hit here. Perfect. These troops are done, so we can get them back into position. The general is nearly done as well. Go ahead, charge our no, we want this cavalry to stay put. And this unit can come here. Meanwhile, move our Cappadocians behind. You can charge into the backs of these units. You can charge into the backs of these units. And I want you to pin down those spearmen so that our cavalry can deal with the missile units. Move our cavalry behind. Our other cavalry can move behind as well. Actually, the two of you can go ahead and attack these units. You stay here in position so that you can charge the rear of that unit. Perfect. Meanwhile, other Cappadocian Lancers are going to charge in as well. Let's go ahead and have a quick look at this charge. It's gonna really devastate that unit. As you can see, their entire front line crumble. It's just so powerful. And of course, they are going to break very soon, even before we get this charge off. And with that, I am going to end the battle, and I will see you all in the campaign. Alright, down goes the garrison of Armavir. We are going to go ahead and loot the settlement. We don't really care. And let's go ahead quickly. Change up the buildings that we need. Dismantle the buildings we don't need. And what we are going to do now is we are actually going to move Julius Caesar all the way up there in an attempt to fight off that massive army. And with that, I think I am done with the first turn of this episode, with the exception that we can level up some characters. So let's go ahead and do that. Get some trained swordsmen to improve our melee attack as well as our melee defense. For chariots, as if we have access to even chariots. I mean, that is absolutely makes no sense for the Romans to be having those. And for the final skill, we can get the movement speed increase over here. And simultaneously, we want to also attack Kartli and take over Mishkera as well as Gabala in this episode. And if we have time, which I'm guessing we will, then we can even progress our our expansion towards the Levant and take over the Seleucids. However, that being said and done, I am going to go ahead and end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when we are ready to, defeat the Armenians. I might also stop in them between in case we get attacked by this massive army. Alright, welcome to the next turn. We have three options of economic intent, which is trade, agricultural, or industry, and we are going to go for the agrarian, since we have two provinces that gives agricultural income, that is Latium as well as Africa Proconsularis. A daughter has come of age, and a quick look at our economy. As you can see, Africa is doing quite good, as is Latium. Right, let's have a look at see which daughter has come of age. Alright, so it is a daughter of our lineage, of our natural bloodline, so she will stay exactly where she is. That's fine. Meanwhile, Legio 3 Gallica has done recruiting up over here, so we can move him towards Narbo Martius.
At your command.
Go ahead, upgrade those troops. Excellent. And once we move him towards Narbo Martius, we should be able to have another 2 legions that are completely built up. Meanwhile, all the way in the east in Armenia, Tigranes has abandoned Tushpa.
I go
Just gonna have a look to see exactly where he has gone.
in destruction.
And we could not do that, unfortunately. So I'm not sure. He might be lying in an ambush position
Destruction and
somewhere around here. So we gotta be very careful with what we do next. And let's go ahead and upgrade these troops. As you can see, we are almost done replenishing over there. So that is great. Reason we can't replenish is because we don't have enough troop types, but that is completely incorrect. We do have, you know, the amount of troops that we need. However, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and we no longer need. I just realized, as far as barracks are concerned, they do have access to some really good horse archers as well as Parthian cavalry, so we might as well keep this as a recruitment province. So let's not culturally convert it and get rid of the foreign population class. So let's actually move all of our dignitaries away from the province towards the Caucasus. And meanwhile, we are going to move Julius Caesar very carefully.
March! Make haste, men. Ready for further orders.
Did Tigranes actually run away? I have no idea. Wow, okay. It seems like he has run away, and I have no idea in which direction. So we could be in a bit of a situation over here if we're not careful. But what we could do is basically pincer this settlement of Tushpa, take it out, and put the pressure on the Armenians to attack us, because they will have no settlements remaining. But if Tigranes is somewhere over here and has managed to evade Julius Caesar himself, he can link up and attack this army that is kind of sort of isolated over there. So we need to kind of reinforce this area. So let's actually send our troops all the way over there in a preparation to reinforce the settlement. Pop out the other army so it can't be isolated. Go ahead and deploy them in that defensive formation. And we are going to go ahead and soon enough we're going to find out the location of Tigranes himself. If I attack this settlement, there is Tigranes. He is outside the settlement. So he is somewhere in this region. So we just can't see him. So let's actually move our other army, and there he is. I mean, we could attack him. Can I attack him with Caesar? Not really, so let me attack this settlement over here and try to see if I can move Caesar closer. And unfortunately I can't do that, and if I let this happen, then what will happen is Tigranes will attack this army and we will kind of be isolated. So let's just go ahead and attack the settlement. I mean, I would have loved to have an epic battle against Tigranes, but yeah, I will not risk it just for the sake of, you know, appearances. And with that, we have also wiped out the faction. That is really unfortunate. And yeah, it seems like we won't be having a massive battle, but at least we will be able to focus on taking Seleucia in this campaign as well, or in this episode rather. Meanwhile, let's quickly convert the settlements over here. Now I need this. I need another supply chain over here, and we're going to dismantle that. A quick look at all of our provinces. Everything seems to be going quite well. Yep, I am pretty happy with the way our provinces are spec'd up. So there's nothing much else to do over here. But what we can do on this turn, I believe, is we can attack Kartli. As they are at war against the Scythians. So let's again ask the Scythians to join the war. They might trade with us now. Give us a non-aggression as well while you're at it.
The gods bless you.
A bit of payment. Excellent. And now what we are going to do is we're going to ask to join the war against Kartli.
Worthy friend. Let us pray.
Wonderful.
I will take word
And
of
we
our
have
agreement
a Legio
and
6
put it
Ferrata
before my
over here that
people.
can pretty much
They will
march
feast
towards
in
Mosquera.
celebration.
Before Rome!
Go ahead, we can get a very favorable auto-resolve, and we might as well move up our army to support so that we get an even better auto-resolve. And keep in mind it is Latin culture, so we can just simply occupy this settlement and we can easily replenish in this turn. However, we also need to spec up this province, and I wonder what kind of auxiliary troops we get here. So not really anything significant. So let's just simply... And I don't mind building another stables over there. Meanwhile, this guy, he can move all the way towards the Bosphorian region. And with that, I think I am done with the turn. Just a quick look to see if any characters have leveled up. And we do have a fleet that is leveled up, classes 1 Roma Victress, which is kind of good news. We can give him some extra ramming ability, some extra campaign movement as well. And we need something for fleets. Definitely this is a good one, but I'm trying to see if there's something better. And it doesn't seem like I have it, so we're going to get the Reformed Pirate. And speaking of pirates, I think we have pirates all the way down south over here. Sicilian pirates, so we are going to send classes 2 Italica Ferox to deal with them. And it will be sent to the port of Italia. And once it is ready, we will release, or we will, you know, engage our offensive against these Sicilian pirates. However, with that, I think I'm done with this turn. So I'm going to go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. Alright, welcome to the next turn. We are going to investigate. And another daughter has come of age, and we have completed our research over here. So let's go ahead and complete the research over here. And we want to start upgrading our armor smith so we can get that final tier 3 armor.
We hunger for battle.
Meanwhile, what we can do is move a Legio 5 Laude towards Syria, as well as Equestris, Legio 10 Equestris towards Syria, in an attempt to, of course, prepare ourselves for an attack against the Seleucids, as we do have a lot of time remaining in this episode. However, that being said and done, let us proceed with our attack against Kartli. We're going to attack Kabbalah next. It is undefended. It's going to be a pretty good auto-resolve. Let's see if we can actually push deeper over here. And we have another settlement of Samandar. I have no interest in owning that settlement, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to gift it to either the Scythians or whoever is in the region. So, guessing they're at war with the Saka as well, or the Sarmatians rather. So definitely we are going to wipe them out and give the province to that faction. However, with that, let's go ahead and just simply occupy Gabala. And with that, as you can see, we now own the Caucasus. We own everything that we should historically at this point of time. And now we can focus on our attacks against the Seleucids, who are being overrun by Muscat. So I don't think I'm going to face much of a challenge there either. However, with that, we can go ahead, just start dismantling a couple of buildings. You can go for the increase. Perfect. Wonderful. Go ahead, send our dignitaries all the way over there. I don't need to move you anywhere. You can just stay here. Perfect. Quick look at all our characters. We have nothing else left to level up. However, we do have a legion all the way in this area. We're going to move Legio 3 Gallica over there and start recruiting up some auxiliary troops. Let's start with 8 cavalry. And then we can get 4 of the skirmishers. 8 spearmen. And 4 of the swordsmen. We are missing a unit type, and that is of course our long-range missiles, but we can get them from Iberia. We can get some slingers. And since we are done with these characters, let us actually go ahead and move them towards Arretium. And the reason being is Arretium has the Circus Maxima in Roma, which means I can upgrade my cavalry to that speed 3 of horses. That will give them extra speed. As you can see, currently they have only 6 speed. But if we move all the way towards Legio 10 Equestris, you can see they have 8 speed, so that makes them significantly faster. However, what we can also do is move Legio 3 Scythica. Actually, you know what? I'm going to move Legio 3 Scythica, give them some action against, since we are already over here in this nomadic region, might as well get to see a Legio 4 Scythica, I'm sorry, not Legio 3. Legio 4 Scythica in action. However, with that, I am going to go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when my armies are positioned to launch an invasion of the Seleucids, take over the Levant. Now, historically, what we want to get is pretty much Tarsos, we want to get Antiochia, we want to get Edessa, we want to get Thapsos, we want to get Dura as well as Palmyra, we want to get Tyros, Salamis and Judea, and hopefully we can get all of them within this episode. I mean, we are almost at the 60% mark as far as time goes in this episode. So we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more regions to conquer. So as you can see, our expansion is super fast now that we are a behemoth. We have about like 20 armies, I'm guessing. And pretty much no other faction in the game can challenge us. However, I am going to keep continuing this campaign as I really want to, go as much into the historical expansion route and reach Roma at its maximum extent. However, with that, let's go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when I'm ready to wipe out the Kartli as well as invade the Levant. Alright, welcome to the future. Sun has come of age, several generals have leveled up, and we have a bunch of pirates over here. So we're going to have to deal with that, of course, and we're going to have to deal with several more things. However, in the east, we are in a position ready to attack with Legio 4 Scythica, Samandar. So let's go ahead, attack the settlement. I mean, it's an amazing auto result, but we want to quickly have a look at the new units, so we are going to wait. And soon enough we will fight that battle. It's not going to be a very tough battle or consequential battle, but it is what it is, I guess. And we're going to move our armies slowly into position in order to invade the Seleucids. And now what I'm thinking is that we need to invade both the east and the west, so we need to take Edessa as well. So we might actually send 2 armies over here. Actually, we can keep 1 army over here so he can come in between the pass and attack Edessa. However, since we are going to attack all of these factions, let's quickly break off all our agreements with them. Go ahead and break our agreements with the Osron. We don't have any agreements with them, so that is great. Meanwhile, the Parthians are looking quite massive and they are treacherous, so we have to watch out for that. Let's quickly send our spies into the region so that we can get a good line of sight of what's going on over here. Meanwhile, we have other spies that we can send deeper towards Palmyra. However, we can also take a quick look at all of our buildings. Go ahead, upgrade all the buildings we want to upgrade. Perfect. Alright. Can go ahead and upgrade this. Economy is looking really powerful. As you can see, we are almost 7 million. We're making quite a lot of income. Asia being first, Africa Proconsularis, Achaea actually overtaking Latium for now. However, soon enough with Latium, once we get this other slot, we can pretty much build another cattle or centralized ranch, and that should improve our economy in Latium itself. However, I think everything is done. We just need to have a look at all of our characters. We can upgrade the General of Legio 3, Kyreneke. Go ahead, give him those final abilities. Meanwhile, quick look at our politics. Most of our political factions are quite loyal towards us, so I'm not too concerned. With the exception of course, the Gens Jr. They have been a pain in my side ever since the start of the campaign, but they are fairly loyal for now, so I'm not too bothered. Meanwhile, a son has come of age, and that is the son that is not part of our lineage, so let's just go ahead, assassinate him so we can clean up our family tree and keep only true blood Julii in charge of our family. Let's have a quick look at our daughters, see who we can marry off, and if we can marry them off, then we are going to go ahead and do that, because we want to have as many Julii family members so that we can fill up our army capacity. As you can see, we are still only 23 of 40, and we have a lot more armies that we can get, so definitely want to get that. Meanwhile, we can initiate the invasion of Seleucia. However, I might just wait until the next couple of turns so that our armies are properly in position, so that in the next turn we can begin a full-fledged invasion of the province. So let's just quickly move this army down in preparation to attack Antiochia. Meanwhile, our fleet, classes 2 Italica, can begin to scout and see where the pirates are. They're over there, and they kind of retreat and not far enough, so we can potentially just attack them here. Should be an easy auto resolve. We might lose a couple of ships, and we haven't lost any ships, so that is great. Let's go ahead and put them back into the port so that they can replenish. And we also need to deal with the Carthaginian pirates over here, so let's actually move our fleet, classes 1 Roma Victress, closer to that fleet, and then we are going to attack them in the next turn. However, before we go ahead and end this turn, we do have to fight this battle against Samandar, and I'll see you all in that battle. Alright, welcome to the battle. We have gone ahead and ranged our legion in a typical formation. We have, of course, our Gallic spearmen on the flanks, and in the center, in the front, we have our Gallic swordsmen, or our Asturian swordsmen rather, or legionaries. Behind them we have a bunch of Balearic slingers, and 8 Balearic slingers, so these guys are going to be really good against nomadic horse archer armies. And of course, behind them we have our core Roman legionary units, Legio Foe Scythica, and as you can see, very nice looking unit, fully bronze armored unit, with of course a very beautiful shield. Of course, we have the first cohort and the general in the back. We have positioned our scorpions behind, between the first 2 lines of melee infantry. And on the flanks, this is where we have our Cappadocian horse archer units. And now these guys are pretty good as a horse archer unit, and probably the best horse archer unit you can get as the Romans. However, that being said and done, let's go ahead, start the battle. And let's actually get our horse archers right into the action, as the enemy will try to come out and face us, since we do have a scorpion. And once we are able to actually upgrade, these guys should have a speed of 9, because currently they don't have any upgrade as far as the horse upgrades are concerned. So we're just going to go ahead and wait for that to happen. Meanwhile, just keep pulling our horse archers out. And has a scorpion yet engaged? And very soon they will engage the enemy. The enemy is moving pretty slowly, rather. And our horse archers have begun firing. We can fast forward the battle over here. It's not going to be a very significant battle, so we might as well fast forward it. Get a look at some of the horse archer units. They managed to get a couple of casualties, not yet. And of course our Balearic slingers will soon start to throw their slings, which is pretty good. There we go. Our Balearic slingers have engaged, which is great news. And you can't really see the projectiles because I have turned them off, but they are for sure attacking the enemy. Meanwhile, horse archers unleashing some volleys into the side of this unit, managing to get a couple of kills. So let's go ahead and move our horse archer units on the right flank to kind of surround the enemy, hit them in from behind, from where they will do a lot more damage. And get our Scorpion to attack this cavalry unit. Meanwhile, the general is almost already done. Let's get our cavalry horse archers to fire at the general, break him. Excellent. Go ahead, keep firing at these units as well. Get these units all the way out there. And that unit of horse has decided to charge right into my spear unit, so I'm not complaining. They are going to get completely destroyed. Meanwhile, we can engage our defensive formation over here. Get our horse archers. Let's reposition our spearmen over there. Meanwhile, our horse archers can go and attack that single missile unit so that we can take it out of the battle and focus on all of these units over here. There we go, horse archers firing into the enemy, getting some pretty decent shots off. Get the other horse archers into this area, create a sort of a death circle over here. Of course, the general is continuing to charge over here, so let's get our general to quickly help and dispatch of that unit. Gallic spearmen are going to do quite well against this unit, and they are going to retreat. They have lost about 4 units. As you can see, our horse archers are just raining it into the backs of these units. Doing really good over here. Keep moving our horse archers closer. And you guys can come here. General has caught up. Wonderful. You can encourage units. Go ahead, keep firing into these units. There's pretty much nothing they can do. And with that, it's going to be quite an easy victory. And horse archers, as you can see, is just so powerful and really pulling off a lot of good kills. So with that, I'm going to go ahead, end the battle, and see you all in the campaign. So down goes Samandar, the last remaining settlement of the Kartli. We are going to go ahead and loot the settlement because it is nomadic culture, and you might notice a new icon for the nomadic culture group, and that is because I have updated it so that the Morians get the orange color for Hinduism, which kind of makes more sense. And we have wiped out that faction, I believe, so we can sort of kind of try to get a trade and a non-aggression and a military access maybe. And maybe instead of non-aggression we can get something more significant. No. So I'm happy with this. And since we are like pretty friendly now, what I can do is just simply sell this settlement using the trade region submod and sell it off to, of course, the Sarmatians. So, yep. Alright. With that, we can go ahead and end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when we are ready to launch our invasion of the Levant. Alright, welcome to the next turn. And we have managed to sell our minor settlement of Samandar to the Sarmatians. So let's go ahead and march Legio Force Skythica all the way towards Phanagoria. go ahead and build up all of our settlements. So let's have a quick look to see what we can build. And I believe we need to build this. And, okay. Perfect. Go ahead, build that. Also pretty good. Alright, that's all good. Now we can move our armies, just basically have a look to see where exactly we can start to attack. And we're gonna have to invade the Levant, so we're gonna have to see how we are going to go ahead and attack the Levant. Meanwhile, in the Levant, we have the Seleucids managing to gain all of their territory back again, which is good for us because we don't have to go to war with Muscat. However, that being said and done, I think I am ready to start the invasion, but before I do that, I definitely want to move Legio 3 Gallica all the way into Arretium to get that level of horse, level 3 horses. Meanwhile, Legio 1 Germanica is completely built up and we are going to put him in the port of Tarraco. So we have a lot of legions in this western frontier. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legions. So that is really, really good. Alright, however, let us see if we can level up any of our characters. I think we could go ahead and level up this dignitary over here. Get some cultural conversion. Empire maintenance is pretty low, it's looking very good. As far as our economy is concerned, again, things are looking quite good. We are waiting to get that next settlement upgrade for Arretium so that we can further increase our economy in Latium. But it is pretty tight race between Africa and Asia for now. However, without any further ado, let us go ahead and begin the invasion of Seleucia. And in order to do that, what we are going to do is we are going to try to get a trade agreement with the Ptolemies and ask to join the war against the Seleucids. Maybe you can even give us a non-aggression. No, not going to pay you for that, but will you accept a free declaration of war against Seleucia? And we are untrustworthy because of it. However, I don't really mind. Meanwhile, we can get our fleets back into the port of Italia. All the way in the west, the pirates have bypassed us and have made a move towards Agrigentum. But we are not going to let them slip past us and we are going to attack them at Agrigentum. And they are for sure going to retreat, hopefully not too far away. Unfortunately, they have retreated a bit further than I can pursue them. So we are going to dock in Syracuse and hopefully we will be able to attack them in the next turn. However, that being said and done, let us initiate our war against the Seleucids. Straight off the bat, we are going to march Legio 10 Equestris to lay siege to Antiochia. And it's not a very good auto-resolve, but we don't really mind it. We are going to send as many of our units as we can into, of course, the Levant. And we can even send Legio 6 Ferrata to attack Tarsus, which is pretty much what we want to do. And it's going to be a very easy auto-resolve, 96%. I will take that any day of the week. And let's go ahead and actually... Wow, this is Roman culture somehow. That is interesting. Right, let us just peacefully occupy the settlement because I want to maintain that Peregrini class. And I have no idea as to why we have a Roman culture over here. So let's build up for that extra Peregrini class. Use Legio 10 Equestris to attack Antiochia. Easy attack. We are going to go ahead and peacefully occupy the settlement. Keep that Peregrini class intact. And can level up a few characters over here. So let's go ahead and do that. What I like to do is I actually like to get the final 2 skills so that I don't mess it up. And over here, okay, we really need to replenish.
At your command.
So let us get our army traditions. And go
We
ahead
hunger
and
for
put
battle.
Julius Caesar into the docks of Antiochia. Meanwhile, we can put Julius Seneca. I'm guessing we can march him towards Thapsacos. Perfect.
At your command.
Meanwhile, over here in the east, we can further push our offensive, but before we do that, or go ahead and do that, let us actually declare war against Osroene. They're at war with Parthia, so Parthia is at war with Scythia.
Be welcome.
So let us actually ask the
Am I
Parthians if they would
always to be
want us to
disturbed
join
by
the war
foreigners?
against Osroene.
If it is
They
arms
kind of
you want,
refuse. I don't
talk
mind
to
paying them
my
a bit. I want to
major
keep Parthia fairly friendly with us. And they continue to
your
reject
notion
it.
is as wrong-headed.
Let's
The
actually
door is open to you.
pay them a
But
great
if
deal.
you wish to go beyond the courtyard within,
It's almost 1 million. Let's see, non-aggression, no. Trade agreement, no. Right, never mind. I'm not going to pay you almost close to 1 million. So let's just go and declare war against Edessa the old-fashioned way. Our allies will join the war, but I'm not going to call them into this war. And the reason being is that I don't want them to be in this war. And actually, speaking of which, the only reason I allied them is so that I can get a line of sight of that region of Gaul. And now that we are in a position to attack Edessa, let's actually go ahead and attack the settlement. Go ahead and we can loot the settlement. I don't think we have any auxiliary buildings that are of interest in this region. Let's go ahead, demolish all of the buildings and repair this building as well. Perfect. And now we can keep moving our spy deeper into Seleucid territory. Gain a line of sight of what exactly is going on. Meanwhile, our other spy can go down south to get a look at what's going on with the Osroene faction. However, with that, I think I am done with this turn, and I will see you all in the next turn. Alright, welcome back to the next turn. A son has come of age. Someone has died a natural death. A couple of people have died a natural death. We have lost a veteran as well. Let's see. Okay, we can't reinstate any legacy, which means none of our governor generals have died. Meanwhile, let's just focus on getting a new dignitary in the province of Latium, which means Latium's income should have significantly dropped. It's below Achaia, as you can see, and that is just how powerful dignitaries are. So you definitely want to get dignitary in your economic province. However, let's just go ahead and have a look at our governor generals and who we can exactly level up. And I'm gonna go ahead and select this person. Perfect. And I'm happy with that. Meanwhile, move Legio to Gallica towards Arretium. That is the goal. And let's have a quick look of what's going on in the east. Alright, perfect.
Ready for orders.
And now this army cannot really replenish because we are in a foreign culture territory. So what we are going to do is we are going to just simply try to convert it to the best of our abilities. No point in building that auxiliary barracks, so let's just go ahead and move this army back towards Samosata, where it can begin to replenish a little bit. And now we can push our attack
We hunger
towards Thapsacos. Let's go ahead,
for Rome.
auto-resolve that. Should be quite an easy auto-resolve. We can peacefully occupy this settlement, and we can convert all of the buildings we so desire. Meanwhile, dismantle all of the other buildings. Perfect. And what we need over here is to build an immigration center, build a couple of things that will give an increase to, of course, the 4th class population. Now, this building really doesn't do that for us, but we can get access to Syrian elephants, but the Romans never used elephants, so I'm not going to go ahead and get elephants myself. I mean, ideally you would want to get them because they are just fantastic, but regardless, I am just simply going to upgrade the settlement And we can go ahead and demolish that building. So everything seems to be fine over here in Syria, which means we want to be attacking into Judea next. But I think the better idea would be to attack Palmyra and then Judea. Let's have a quick look of what's going on over here. If we can sabotage the settlement and get some information. Alright, we have 2 armies over here. And so we gotta be a little bit careful with what we do. Instead, what we can do is we can actually move Legio 6 Ferrata down all the way over here. And we can move our other legion all the way towards Dura. We're going to ignore Hatra because we don't really want to own it at this point of time. And have a real quick look. These guys have a couple of full stacks over here, so but they're not really good armies, so we can easily beat them. But perhaps we can even piece them out for now. And they may or may not accept
Be
that.
welcome, I suppose. Now speak
Client
as you
state?
wish, and
Nah.
try to be
Alright,
interesting.
so we're gonna peace out. We're gonna ask you to pay us for it. And you accept that, so we have officially ended the war against the Austrian. And we should be able to launch our invasion into Palmyra in the next turn. Quick look at this army. Can it move deeper? Can move into that area, because I eventually want to move it all the way back around to protect Antiochia. Because in the next turn the idea is to attack Palmyra with both the armies over here and use this army over here to attack Dura. Meanwhile, Julius Caesar himself will go ahead and launch a naval invasion of Salamis. So let's go ahead and do that. Quickly march on towards Salamis. We can just auto-resolve that. It's going to be a very favorable auto-resolve, and we can loot up the settlement because it is Hellenic culture. Make sure we turn off the taxes over here. And we are going to spec this up to be a research-based province. Let's go ahead and do that. Meanwhile, we can pull all of our dignitaries all the way over here. Keep pulling them because we want to start converting this province of Judea. Right, and we have another dignitary over here. So we can actually maximize our cultural conversion in the area. So, however, before we go ahead and end the turn, let's have a quick look at all of our provinces. Alright, over here we want to build that because it gives extra wealth from livestock, which means Africa will be in a pretty solid position by the time we are done completely building it up. So that is definitely something to look forward to. Let's go ahead and upgrade that building as well. And finally, we want to deal with the pirate situation over here. These pirates just simply keep evading us, but I don't think they should be able to get away from us at this time. And if they do, that's going to be really annoying. Come on, stop. Perfect. Alright, let's go ahead, give chase, attack them. Should be an easy auto-resolve. We might lose a couple of ships, but we don't, which is great. So let's just enslave all the captives. Meanwhile, this fleet has gotten extra tradition. And we are going to go for the campaign range movement as well as the ramming bonus. And then, of course, the upkeep is pretty good, as well as the health for the ships. And next we can get the extra campaign range movement. We're going to move this fleet back towards Syracuse. Perfect. As you can see, we started this episode about 4.5 million denarii in our treasury, and we are already at 7 million denarii, and this is going to be pretty much the theme for the rest of the campaign. We're going to be making a shit ton of money, and yeah, that is just how powerful the economy can become once you properly spec it. However, without any further ado, let's go ahead, end the turn, and I will see you all in the future when I am ready to conquer the last 4 remaining settlements of this episode. Alright, welcome to the next turn. Several of the characters have leveled up. And I kind of did forget in the previous turn we had lost a couple of Yeah, we had lost a couple of champions, so we might as well get them. Let's have a very quick look at our ledger and go ahead and arrange everything as per the army. Okay, Legio 3 Germanica has a very low general. So does Legio 3 Gallica, so I might actually get a couple of champions to kind of improve their abilities. So let's just go ahead, get a couple of champions over here. So this guy is pretty good. He gives -4 upkeep, which is pretty powerful. Let's go ahead. Get that. Keep upgrading all of the abilities. Perfect. And go ahead and... Okay, we can't put him in yet. However, we can move this guy towards Arretium. And we can get that extra cavalry speed. Perfect. Now we're going to move him towards Saguntum. And we're going to keep his champion waiting for him in Saguntum. And we have 2 options remaining. And this is the better option because it gives unit experience. Of course, he has also leveled up, which is great news. Which means we can get as many abilities as we want. Perfect. So I'm pretty happy with that. Meanwhile, we can level up some characters. So let's go ahead and keep leveling up some characters. Champion over here has pretty much done his duty leveling up that general. So we might as well move him all the way over there to train Legio 3 Kyreneke. And pretty much that's going to be what we're going to do in that area. But before we go ahead and continue our invasion of Seleucia, let's have a very quick look at all of our provinces, see what buildings we can upgrade. And of course we have kind of leveled up over here, so I think what would be a good idea over here is to build another cavalry center. Let's go ahead, build up that over here. And we're going to build this, that. Wonderful. Alright, perfect. I'm happy with the buildings for now. And just also a quick look at our fleet. Make sure we dock it back into the port. And apart from that, we can take the other fleet out in order to defeat the Seleucid fleet. And pretty much give us an advantage in the seas, because pretty much they can attack any of the settlements we have recently conquered. So we want to make sure that they don't have any fleet in the region that can pose a severe threat to us. And now we are going to perform our pincer movement. We're going to attack over here in Dura. Should be a very good auto resolve, 98%. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and peacefully occupy the settlement so that we can replenish a fair bit. Now I have 2 options. We are going to attack Palmyra, that is for sure. But I can either attack with this army or I can attack with this army. Now, the reason I'm going to attack with this army is because it's going to use a majority of its army movement. And the other army can pretty much march somewhat close so he can reinforce. Perfect. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and peacefully occupy this as well. Wonderful. And now we can move Julius Caesar to finally conquer Tyros. And it doesn't seem like a very good auto-resolve, but that's the purpose of leaving a lot of movement speed for this army, so that we can pretty much reinforce at Tyros. And it seems like they don't have any faction leaders, so if we take Tyros, then we pretty much have wiped out the Seleucids as well. No, what are you doing? You were attacking this. Alright, never mind. I guess what we can do is just simply move our fleet. Actually, we can move our fleet and attack it. And let's go ahead and use that defensive formation. Lost a couple of ships, but none of our troops, which is a much better option. We're going to go ahead and loot up this settlement as well. And we've wiped out the Seleucids. Meanwhile, we are going to move Caesar back onto the land. Perfect. Wonderful. With that, as you can see in this episode, we've pretty much conquered quite a lot of the east. And that means we're getting a little bit ahead of schedule. We should pretty much also conquer Yehuda from the Ptolemaic faction. And I'm not I mean, I could do it in this episode. However, I think we have run out of time for this episode, so I'm going to do it in between the episodes. Conquer Yehuda, and we have completed our conquest of the Levant historically, after which we will be focusing on Gallia itself. And before I go ahead and end the episode, we're going to have a very quick look at everything we can do over here. Alright, we have Legio Ferrata that we can level up. It's fantastic. Just keep getting these abilities. That's going to make things a lot easier for us. And what about Caesar's favorite legion? It's still struggling to level up in traditions, and that's because we really haven't been lucky as far as it counts for, you know, attacking settlements. Alright. And I'm pretty happy with that, and I think I am done with this turn, so there's nothing much else left to do. We do have this army over here, and we do have a couple of champions that have just been recruited, so we can't really move them in this turn. However, we have another champion that's also moved. Okay, perfect. So I think, yes, with that, I think we are done with this episode. And so I thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And if you liked the video, then like the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you are interested for more. Peace and love.